Welcome, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us today. I'm Kelly Garcia. I'm the project director of the Cross Commodity Leadership Support Project, which is a collaboration between 5 industry associations, including the BC Grape Growers Association, Fruit Growers, Cherry Growers, Wine Grape Council, and Okanagan Sterile Insect Release Program. Hope I got everybody. And I'm basically here as a coordinator today, a facilitator. So we were requested to do projects or do this project because that's what this cross commodity project is all about, is providing support to the industry associations. So Tyrion Miskell and Melissa Teche from Fruit Growers Association asked us to organize this. So that's why we're here. And I'm going to pass it over to Tyrion for some words of welcome. Go ahead, Tyrion.
Great, thanks, Ian. I wanted to just add a little to what Kelly had said, is that, you know, we recognize that apples, cherries, and grapes all have lots in common in agriculture. We all have our own associations that are very busy with you know, limited staff and time, that are very busy focusing on what our members need. But there's still these bigger concepts that if we pooled our energy, we could get a lot more accomplished. And that's where Kelly comes in. And I feel like this is a small but good example of how well this is working for us, is that we're trying to find ways to support apple growers, cherry growers, and grape growers through this difficult time, making sure that we facilitate information from you know, financial information to growers is really important. Instead of having 3 different presentations, we're having one. Really good use of time. Plus, I think there'll be a lot of great sharing of the questions and things, better understanding of how the different commodities works. Anyways, to get on to today, I am Tyrion from the BC Grape Growers Association. Really happy to have Camila Diaz, who a lot of growers will recognize because she comes out to our BCGA events very regularly, and Todd Glassman. The joy of this is that they can talk to commodity-specific topics, grapes and cherries and apples. So we're really happy that you're here. Thank you so very much for making the time to talk to our membership. I also want to say too that, you know, 60 people signed up for this workshop, which shows that it's actually a very important topic to growers. We need your feedback as to what you need in times like this. Please let us know so that we can spend our time advocating on behalf of growers and finding the right information for you, getting the right people in front of you to give you support and knowledge that you need to get through this very challenging growing year, and any year. So great, I'll pass it on to Camila. Thank you.
Thank you, Tyrion, and thank you for having us as well. Thank you to Kelly and Shelby. I know that you guys have been doing lots of work to get everything organized, and so we appreciate the time, and we appreciate the opportunity to be here. I will start my presentation, and let me know if for some reason it doesn't share. I'm hoping that everybody can see it.
Yeah, it looks good. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so like Tyrion said, my name is Camila Diaz, and I am a senior relationship manager with FCC and the commercial portion of Farm Credit. And today, Todd Glassman actually joins me, and he is a senior relationship manager with our agriculture production team, and so mostly based on primary production, and that's kind of how we split with FCC. And so we can kind of talk about both primary production, so if you're growing anything that is kind of coming out of the ground, and then on my side, anything that is processed into something more, or anything that has to do with food and beverage manufacturing. See if I can actually, there we go, I think. Wait, So let's start a little bit with who is FCC. And today, Todd and I will actually be sharing the slides. And so we're kind of be working off of each other. But just to give you a brief background, and I know from some of the names that I see, I know that a lot of you guys know that who we are, but we are a federal corporation. We were founded in 1959, so we've been around for a little while. We support growth and prosperity in the Canadian agriculture and food industry. And so we're mostly known for primary production, but as our mandate has expanded, we are basically in anything that is food and beverage as well, in an effort to support agriculture and food. We are 100% invested in Canadian agriculture and food, and so we don't do anything that is outside of that, and we also don't get out of agriculture, which is one of the reasons that we have had so much longevity, and we are so invested in making sure that everybody is supported through the different cycles. Todd and I are based out of the Kelowna office, and so that's where you will find us, or by email or phone. And then we have over $48 million in disbursed loans in 103 offices across Canada, with the Okanagan office being here in Kelowna. There we go.
Yeah, so this slide just shows that we understand what's going on in the industry, where we have our finger on the pulse, as you might say. We're out meeting with the growers, getting their story, and we see it and we understand it, and we support our clients. Our motto is we have a vested interest in your success in good times and in bad. And that's really important to our growers and to us, is the longevity of the industry, and that we can keep you guys going, right? In not just the good times, but more so even in the hard times. Oh, did we go one too many? So in this slide, it's important for our folks to understand the long-term and the short-term financial goals, set your budgets, and understand your cash flow. So that's very important on our side of the world. People that can help you: your accountant, your financial advisors, your bookkeepers, and your bankers. Then we're going to move into the budgets, projections, cash flow, and forecast.
So part of the things that become really important when we are in downtimes, and this is kind of the purpose of this discussion, is how do you talk to your lenders? How do you work with your lenders during downtimes? The one thing that becomes really important is knowing your cash flow. So regularly assessing what you're going to need in order to make it to the next month, to make it to the next week, and then note the periods where there's going to be a shortfall, so that we can kind of plan around it. Basically, when you're communicating with us, we're going to ask you, hey, can you give us a projection of what your cash flow looks like, so that we can plan to help you in advance. So for FCC specifically, we do have a template that you guys are welcome to use. It is located under our tools section under our website, so fcc.ca, fcc-fac.ca/tools. And this is what monthly cash flow looks like. And I know a lot of you are probably just kind of rolling your eyes and going, that looks so boring. It is so much more important in the times where we know that we're going to have a shortfall. We know that there's not going to be a crop, whether it's in softwood or it's in the grape production, but we know that there's going to be some money coming in, whether it's from crop insurance or agri-stability. We need to know when those things happen. And so that's one important side, but we also need to know when the money is going out. Okay, because if at the end of the year you're making money or you lost money, that is one thing, but we still need to be able to make it to our next payment, our next grocery shop for all of us, for a lot of us, which is, actually the operation supports the family living. And so that is one of the reasons that we ask to see those monthly flows, so that we know how to help and when it is the best time for us to help. The other thing that it does is it lets us know exactly how much short you're going to be at every month. And so we know exactly, if we know how short you're going to be, then we can say, okay, well, where is the money coming from? Is it coming from your line of credit? Is there enough money in there available for your line of credit? Or is it coming from savings? Is it coming from insurance? Yeah, stability. Exactly. Like, where is it coming from? And if at the end of the month, even after you look at all of resources for that month, if there's still a shortfall, then we get to figure out how much it is and then where it's going to come from. So whether it comes from additional financing or alternative financing like ACC, for example, for those that attended the Agriculture Credit Corporation.
And it also keeps it front mind for our clients too. It's a great tool to sit down and actually see how much goes out each month, because a lot of folks work on an annual basis. They don't know month to month what exactly is going out. They just know I have this much money coming in, this much money's in my account, and out it goes. And so this allows you also to kind of plan for that and be conscious of it. And it also allows you to look at it and say, hey, where can I sharpen my pencil a little bit? You know, I got some extra spray, I got some extra fertilizer from my supplier. Rather than keeping it for next year because it's cheaper this year than it's going to be next year, you can use that cash in your pocket today, and then we can help you out next year if you need it. So it's another tool to keep it front and center, written down. You see it, you understand it, and it kind of puts it more in mind to keep you a bit more mindful of what you're going to need and how for yourself where you can budget and tighten up a little bit.
The other thing it does for us is it gives us notice, so we know in advance when things are going to be short and when things are not going to be short, and so we can prepare. So as your bankers, if you're coming to us and you're going, here I can see in 3 or 6 months I'm going to have a problem, that is so much easier for us to handle and to make a plan to help you through it than it is like, this week I'm short and I don't know what to do. That doesn't give us very many options, and so that goes to our planning as well and how we can provide additional support. Projections, and so this is the same as cash flow, but a little bit more like to the end of the year. What does the end of the year look like?
More forward.
Yeah. So, and we're looking just not the end of this year, but the end of next year and the year after. So we're looking 3 years in advance. So we know for a fact that we've had a couple of hard years, to put it lightly, right? But we need to know or have an idea of how hard they're actually going to be. Like if there are losses, how much the losses are going to be, and then how we plan on getting back up to whatever the plan was originally before, right? And so if there is any losses that we need to capitalize, can you actually bring operations back up so that you're able to repay everything, and we can put the plans in place, not for just the 12 months in advance. We can put plans in place in 3 years in advance so we can set you up to be successful. And so not just the monthly planning is important, but the annual planning is also important when we go through the different cycles, for sure.
Yeah. So now we move on to our fantastic lender-borrower relationships. And we help you plan for the future. Our motto is we're vested in your success and also in your struggles. We're not just here in the good times, we're here in the bad. And it's more important in the tougher times to support our clients than it is in the great times, because you're doing great, right? But where it becomes extremely important is when our clients are faced with what they've been faced with the last 2 years. For some folks, our grape growers, 2 years of no grapes, and hopefully next year we'll do it. And just recently this year with a lot of our soft fruit folks that didn't experience this as well.
Yeah.
So again, communication is key. Camilla and I are going to keep hounding on that. Don't be afraid of us. A lot of folks are afraid that, oh, if I tell my bank I'm struggling, they're just going to not help me, or they're going to look to move us out. No, on the contrary, with your lenders, doesn't matter whether it's us or if it's another FI. If you get ahead of it, it's always better to get ahead of it. Let them know what's going on ahead of time. The majority of us are paying attention in the industry, what's going on. Reach out, let us know how badly you've been impacted. Share also in some of the great news where, hey, I'm actually going to get some agri-stability, but I'm not going to get it until this time. So that allows us enough time to sit down and work a plan out with you, rather than phoning us up the day before the payment going, oh, hey, yeah, guess what? This is what happened to me. Now we're behind the 8 ball, and it's a lot harder to actually do anything to help you folks than it is ahead of time. Ahead of time, we can sit down, we can have that discussion, we can have a plan, and it's always better to go to credit and to our partners with the plan that our clients acknowledge this. We've sat down, we've discussed this with them. Here's their plan moving forward. Here's how they want to get out of it. Here's what we want to do to help them get through this. And that will always be a lot better for you as a producer and us as your partner, as your lender, because it allows us the time to let our upper management know what's coming so they can best plan for it as well. And then we're moving on to our fantastic customer support program. It's a little bit different, on the commercial side than it is on the ag production side. Where on the ag production side, we do have a number of tools in our tool belt. And what we do is it's not just necessarily a blanket program where it's one size fits all, because everybody has different needs. So what we're doing is it's a case-by-case assistance where we sit down with you and, if you need some deferrals, we do that. If you need some additional cash, we can do some capitalization. We can do some of that. If you've got lots of equity, we can do a little bit of additional cash flow support that way. And it really is tailored to that specific client. We do have national programs that came out for the grape folks because that was just everybody got hit with it.
So anybody that it was impacted by frost, so not necessarily just the grapes, but if you are in soft fruits or if apples and you were impacted through the frost, it's a frost support program for the commodities that were impacted.
Yeah, and then it's a little bit different on the commercial side.
Yeah, and on our side, it's a little bit different. It's kind of the same. We've put in it's a blanket support program, and that we have some ability to do some deferrals under our signature in the office. And I know that I've talked to lots of my guys and going, hey, do you need it now? Do you need to keep it in your back pocket? Take a look at your cash flow, see how it works, see how going forward, how we can help and when it's going to have the most impact. That will remain and is still available until March 2025. The one thing that we want to know and we always want to know is where are you at? How is everything going? What's the year going to look like? How do we support? And then how do we get you back up? What are kind of the plans? And so for some requests, we will need that cash flow projection or updated financial statements, just to make sure that we are actually supporting as opposed to creating a bigger concern.
Yeah, and that's why it's also important too for a lot of our folks to really get those tax returns in. If you're coming to us and you need a full complete deferral, we're happy to help, but we do need the updated financial information. And that's where it becomes a bit of a challenge with some folks if they're late getting their information in because the accountants are swamped. So our messaging has been right from the get-go here when we saw what happened. Hey, get your information in as quickly as possible so that I can help you. Help me help you. And then just express to your accountant that, in my current situation, Farm Credit or my lender can't help me until I have this information. And then it keeps it forefront in his mind that maybe he can prioritize your stuff a little bit quicker than they would normally do it. Not necessarily sure if that helps, but at least right, if you're talking to your accountant, then at least they can be aware of the importance of getting it done in a timely fashion.
The other thing, and to Todd's point, we have it's called an FCC customer support program, but if you are not an FCC customer, this should be on a case-by-case available through your other lenders. And so it's important that, we're talking about FCC, but we know that people have financing in other places. And so the messaging is to communicate with your lender and then let them know what you need or what you think is going to help provide them kind of the plan going forward. And they will be able to provide deferrals as well. And they can provide creative structures as well. And so the way that kind of the banks, the big FIs, FCC, everybody wants to support their customers in what they are. Nobody wants to kind of do the other thing. And so just keep communicating with them. And I'm sure that they will be able to kind of sit down and help and provide some relief as much as we have. So, yeah. So this is a little bit of how we are now positioning ourselves, as opposed to just if you produce it. If you produce it, you process it, you pack it, you move it, we finance it. Anything that has to do with food and beverage, agriculture production, we're here to help. And it's in an effort to support Canadian agriculture overall. And that's kind of a bit of an expansion on our mandate as well. It's changing, and we're actually going into a bit of further expansion of our mandate, but we are looking at different types of financing as well. So we're doing diversification, we're doing equipment and inventory. Some of the things that maybe you haven't heard us do much, we can do a little bit of mergers and acquisitions, stretch debt, venture capital, syndicated lending. We are participating in that as well. And so if you are in a business where there's opportunities to kind of grow and you need equity partners, that is something that we're also expanding into. And we just kind of we're wanting to let people know that is also coming down. We're trying to figure out how to put it together.
It's in our tool belt.
It's in our tool belt.
So this is our FCC knowledge. So these are all the ways that we try and support our clients, whether it be a podcast, our e-newsletter, our agri-success, our events that we host like this, trying to help out our clients, the various videos that we have. Check out, it used to be Twitter, now it's X.
Oh, yes, yes.
Check us out there too, because we do post and we highlight a bunch of our different growers that allow us to do so. And then the various articles that we have that go out to just kind of keep you apprised of what's going on in the industry, what we're seeing. And then we've got our famous land values as well, which is great, but just bear in mind that it's just a general, it won't mine down into what your specific property would be worth. It just shows you region by region, whether it's trending up or it's trending down or it's staying flat, and what it's trending up or down by. And again, just know that it's generalized. It takes all of the sales in the area and it just kind of spits it out. So it doesn't mean yours is worth less or maybe it's worth more. It's just a general idea of where it's landing.
And then sometimes depending on the years, like we've had really slow sales years, we just don't have enough data points in order to make certain sentences specific to whether it's like vineyard land or orchard land. And so you will see that kind of come in and out of the report depending on the years and the sales that have gone through. We also have our food and beverage report that just came out as an economics report as well. It's very interesting to read as well. It's available online, or you can send me an email. I'm happy to send it out too. A couple of other things that we do have advisory services for that we're trying to expand, but for now it's just for our commercial clients. And so we actually, for our customers, it is a 40-hour advisory service block with a company that we have partnership with. They're out of Quebec, but they're really good. We actually subsidize 80% of the cost in 40-hour blocks, and you can do more than one. And so for those that are maybe looking at like, hey, how do I pivot into something else or something different or something to like diversify my risk, that is something that, please feel free to reach out. Happy to kind of make a connection. And then we've had really good feedback from our customers throughout Canada on them.
Yeah, and on the ag production side, we've also got our transition specialists that help you folks get kind of into that next stage, lining everything up so that you can transition the operation to the kids that are looking to do that in a much more seamless effort versus everyone like, I don't know, if you listen to your accountant, it's one way, you listen to your banker, it's another, your financial advisor, it's another, right? So it's a way to tailor it so that all three play well in the same bond.
Again, timing is of the essence, and so start as early as possible, and things can change, but we're happy to kind of move with the plans as they go. So just wanted to open it up for questions, if there's any. And I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you very much. If you don't mind stopping to share your screen, then we can see people a bit better. That'd be great.
I can. I'm just going to put my information up
there.
there.
Oh, excellent.
And then I'll stop sharing.
Okay.
I think I can stop sharing. I might need some help with that.
There you go.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much. That was super informative. Really appreciate it. Now we do have a bit of time for questions, so you can either raise your hand using the little button at the bottom there under reactions, or you can just type something in the chat and then I can read it out. So if anybody has any questions, go ahead and ask them now. We'll just give it a sec in case somebody's typing.
We're just so good. We answered everything.
And just to let you know, this session is being recorded and it will be shared through all of the industry associations and through our website. So let your neighbors know that if they missed it, they can tune in and look at the presentation later at their convenience. Yeah, it looks like we might not have any questions at all today.
We did a great job.
Perfect. Yeah, so I'll just do a last pitch in terms of this, what is happening right now. All of your bankers, anybody that is working in agriculture is very aware. We do know it is happening. We're talking to our customers. We're trying to keep in touch as much as we can, kind of knowing what the plans are. But if we haven't gotten to you, like, please reach out to us. We're happy to have the conversation. If there's like a plan to be made or just an information like, hey, this is kind of what we're thinking, we're happy to know that, because it allows us time to provide support when it's needed. We record all of our conversations. We have conversations with our teams and credit and go, hey, this is what's coming down the pike as an industry, and so we can try to tailor also industry support programs as well. So.
Okay, so I do have one question in the chat. So it says, you've mentioned quite a few times the integration of production insurance and agri-stability into cash flow planning and income projecting. Do you have programs available for producers that did not have production insurance in 2023?
Yeah, so we don't provide insurance on that side of the world, but any of our folks that were impacted, we did offer the deferral payments for that, which is in itself a cash flow injection. If you didn't have to make that payment, that we injected that back into the company, and then we capitalize at the end. So we add the extra year onto the actual term and amortization of the loan. So it's to lessen the impact of missing that full year's payment, or only making that interest payment and not reducing it by the principal. But as an organization, we don't offer insurance programs.
Yeah, I'm not sure if, I don't think the question was, do you offer it? It's more some, like, I think it was AAC, they require you to have production insurance or agri-stability in order for them to provide the funding.
No,
so I think the question was,
like, if you didn't have insurance, then we understand some of our clients haven't found value in the insurance because they've never had it, and they look at it like, well, that would have been money lost. We don't look at it as, well, because you're yourself.
oh, just a second. I'm just gonna. Sorry, somebody's unmuted there. I don't think that was intentional. Oh, I think we lost him. Okay, Miranda, does that answer your question? Feel free to elaborate in the chat if not.
Yeah, and maybe I'll add. So we don't offer any grants. We are a financial institution, so we don't actually offer any grants. We don't request that you have insurance as part of our application processes. We hope that you do, but like Todd was saying, we know that sometimes, especially kind of in the winery industry, it hasn't been worth it to have that crop insurance, simply because the payouts on the commodity value versus what you can make it out of wine, it doesn't kind of pay off, but it is part of your risk and your risk mitigation strategies.
Okay, she says that answers her question, so that's great. Where can we find the recorded session? We will share it with all participants, and then also the industry associations like BCGA, BC Wine Grape Council, Fruit Growers Association will all have links to this recorded session. So it should come through to you though as a participant. We'll send out that link. Any other questions before we end the session? Okay, I think we're good. Tyrion, did you want to say any final words, or are you all done? There she is.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to both Todd and Camila, and to Kelly and Shelby for organizing this. Thanks for everybody for coming. And, you know, the links will be up on our websites, and feel free to pass them on too. We want to make sure that, you know, if you know of anybody that you think might be interested or you've had conversations with, make sure that they get, you know, pass on the link to them so they can watch this and hopefully you know, it will help them in some way. And again, please feel free to get in touch with either Beth at the Cherry Association, Melissa at Fruit Growers, or me, Tyrion, at Grape Growers, if you have worries or issues that you don't know how to address and you think we could help you, or if you have ideas on how we might be able to facilitate education or help make changes in the system, anything, please feel free to get in touch. That's what we're here for.
Okay, thanks, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Bye-bye.